faculty room was deserted. Empty chairs lurched at odd angles, shoved away from their desks. A coat rack slumped, sloughing off gloves and scarves. On a shelf, a windy novelty clock pecked at kernels of time. At 10 that evening, the last class of the day was over. A pale-eyed woman walked into the smoking room and laid a stack of books on her desk. She sat down in her chair, swung a leg over the armrest, picked up a half-smoked cigarette from her ashtray and lit it. Dragging deeply, she looked up to see a smooth-faced man enter the room. She blew out a gust of smoke in his direction, watching him slide a pack of tall goals from his t-shirt.
Jesus, I don't know how y'all smoke those damn things,
she said. He snapped open an imitation scripto lighter and lit up. The lighter snapped shut.
To think you're a teacher of English,
he said.
If you must use y'all, use it correctly. It's a plural pronoun. I'm singular.
Hell, I'll vouch for that.
The pale-eyed woman took another long drag. The smooth-faced man picked up a pen and carefully drew a red X through December 20th, 1988 on his calendar. He dropped the pen on his desk and went to the rack and began to search for his coat. At that moment, an elegantly attired young man arrived. He hoisted a foot onto the seat of the nearest chair, and buffed his shoe with a handkerchief. A pointy-faced woman came in behind him, a lit cigarette trailing from her mouth. The elegant man gave a last touch to his shoe.
Hey, Ace, a drink with the Italian stallion?
He asked, and the pointy-faced woman...
Not tonight. I gotta dust the fringe on my couch.
She thrust a few things into her desk, locked it, and went for the coat rack.
By the way,
said the smooth-faced man as the pointy-faced woman was getting into her coat.
Lester called in to ask about that progress report.
The pointy-faced woman jammed on her gloves, cigarette still clamped in her mouth. She replied,
Progress, schmoggers.
She twisted a long purple scarf several times around her neck, carefully avoiding the cigarette.
I don't do nothing half-assed. I ain't about to start to please Lonnie Lester,
she said. She muttered good night as she went out amid a ragged awake goodbyes.
What about you, old buddy, old chap? Couple of brews?
The elegant fellow asked his colleague. The smooth-faced man shook his head.
Not I. Sorry. I promised my students these papers anyway. I've not fully recovered from Saturday night.
Well, I'll join you. I could use a beer.
My, look at this. This is all this excitement.
Yeah.
Jesus, drama, action.
Action. Serious.
Jesus.
Now I've completely lost my place.
Oh, sorry. I'll keep them cameras rolling, folks.
Well.
I just said that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Said the pale-eyed one. She stabbed out her cigarette and disentwined herself from the chair. The smooth-faced man pressed out his cigarette, gave a tug to his coat, and said,
Good night, all.
Nodded at an older woman as they crossed the paths in the doorway, and went out whistling. The older woman sat down, lit a cigarette, laid it in an ashtray, and began to sort through her paperwork. She drew a red line through a sentence, held the page at arm's length, and considered it critically. Pondering, she took a drag off her cigarette and blew smoke rings into the page. The pale-eyed woman tossed her books into a desk drawer, shoved it closed, and went for the coat rack.
Pale-eyed woman.
The elegant man followed suit. As they were leaving, a curly-haired woman came in.
Any word from Beverly?
No, I called a while ago and there was still no answer.
Maybe someone should go over to her place.
I think that Lester's going to go by.
Uh-huh, well, see y'all tomorrow.
Said the pale-eyed woman as she and the elegant man departed.
Wow, everybody cleared out early tonight.
The curly-haired woman said. She sank into her chair and pulled a book bag out from beneath her desk.
Nice desk.
I wish I could leave now, but I've got a million things to do.
The older woman arose, put her paperwork away, and locked her desk, slid her cigarettes into her purse, and closed the clasp. She ground out her cigarette and put on her coat at the door.
Good night, see ya.
The curly-haired woman called out. The only reply was the sound of footsteps retreating. An hour later, the smoke room light was flicked off. Shadows slumbered in the gray shapes of vacant chairs. The bare silhouette of a Kovac struck out across a dark wall. Another frozen second nicked the inky, empty air of a long Korean night.